So today, I'm going to be playing the COD Killer that ironically never became the COD Killer. And I knew from the beginning that XDefiant was not going to be the COD Killer. I just knew it. But I didn't think that it was necessarily going to be a bad game. I just think that with Call of Duty, it's got its name so prevalent, and that no matter how bad of a Call of Duty game we're going to get, and no matter how good the competitive game that could come out would be, that XDefiant is super competitive. Like, it is. It's got a lot of things going for it. But Call of Duty is just such a big name and comes out every year, and it's a household name that everybody knows. And it's hard to just beat that, no matter how. They could come out with Call of Duty Ghost, and XDefiant could be coming out at the same time, and Call of Duty Ghost would still outsell XDefiant. And of course, XDefiant could have had some like changes, and they still have a long way to go, but I think they've kind of already, like, that ship has sailed, so to speak. But it's not to say that it's necessarily a bad game, and I do think there's a player base out here that is for XDefiant. I personally actually have more fun overall on XDefiant than I do on Call of Duty. The thing that keeps me on Call of Duty, though, is one, I always argue about the hit detection. I always argue about the ping, that it could be better. And like, as I'm currently playing this, I am playing while I'm talking. Like, this is like not me like just talking post game or anything and then stitching this in. And I personally feel like some of these deaths are already because of like ping just not working out the way it needs to be. Like, I feel like a little janky, which just shouldn't be happening, because I have an Ethernet cable plugged in to my PC, and I have like a 500 megabyte download speed, so I shouldn't have any problems with download speeds. The thing that is pushing people away the most is not just the hit detection and kind of that delay that needs to be worked out, but it's also just not having the challenges there. There's challenges to be done, but some of the challenges are just so big that you don't get that dopamine rush right away, and I think that pushes a lot of people away too, because there's nothing to work for in between. We have some mastery camos for these guns in here, and you have to level the guns up so far, and only the best players are going to really be able to get it, or the players that stay the most determined to get it, I should say. And for most of these players, that's just not going to be an option. Like, they're going to have to either be really good or just really dedicated to trying to unlock the mastery camos. And there's no like simple red camo or simple blue camo, or it's like, oh hey, I can get my gun up to level 30, let's say, and I can get just a simple color that I like, right? And I think they need to add some like more in-between challenges, and of course it's going to be more basic stuff that you unlock, but it's just a little bit of more of a dopamine rush in between, and I think that's what this game needs as well. Operators are always cool. They bring a unique taste to the shooter game, but I also don't like them because it's just like you feel locked into whatever that has to be. And I do believe that XDefiant has a place here, and I do believe they have a long way to go as well, and that the game hopefully will continue to grow and be popular to some degree, even though the player base has, of course, died down a lot. I think that the one thing that XDefiant did not have going for it for the longest time as well, just right out of the gate, before it even started, was the fact that people were just hoping for its downfall, and this got talked about and already like beat to death by other content creators and stuff. So there's really not much to talk about there. And I was trying to destroy that, but I guess you can't, which is kind of stupid. And I think that you just can't have that. Like, you got to be optimistic about a game. You can't just hate on a game just because it might not be a game for you, right? It's okay that a game's not for you, but to like broadcast that the game's going to be bad just because it's not your type of game, I don't think is the right thing to do either. And it is kind of sad to see the player base die down as much as it did. It doesn't necessarily surprise me, because I don't think they really did a lot of things wrong. There was a lot of things that did need to be fixed, and honestly, I'm having a lot of fun in this game, in the sense of like, hey, this game has been fixed. Like, the sniping in it has gotten drastically nerfed, and I think that was a huge deterrent for why I didn't play the game as much as I did when it first came out. It's just the sniping was just so easy, and now that it's not as prevalent, like, in all the recent games I've played, I've ran into one sniper, and I thoroughly enjoy not running into the snipers. And the other biggest thing for me is that it just needs to have those intermediate challenges. And I need to have like more progression. I need to feel like there's just more going on in the game for me. I'm gonna die right here, and I already know it. I hate it when you know your downfall. But I've been using the same, like trying to unlock these LMG here. So you can see I'm halfway to dead stack. I'm still getting an LMG because you got to do like certain amount of damage to enemy equipment, and then I'm trying to heal enemies or heal allies with the El Remiendo, and I've been using this for like half my playtime on this game already, and I still haven't completed it, which is just, you know, it just kind of gets annoying. And I'm fortunate enough that this gun that I'm using is really not that bad of a gun, but it still gets annoying. Like I can't use the stuff that I want to use because it's like I'm determined to make sure I unlock everything, but I'm locked behind like, oh, this is just gonna take like hours of playtime for me to get, and like trying to get the enemy equipment shot is just something I'm at the mercy of the enemy being able to shoot it up, and then me being able to shoot it out before they kill me, because most of the time the only thing that really is going to count is shooting the shield. And so that's kind of unfortunate from that standpoint, but I do think this game has a place in the gaming space, and I do think they're going to continue to have people playing it and a good player base, and I hope it continues to get support, because I do think it's a good game. It has the potential, and they just have to keep on it, right? And I have no problems right now finding a lobby. It took me longer to get the update, a 1 gig update for the game, than it did, and like load through the game, than it actually did to still get the match. And of course I play like a handful of different playlists. Combined, I don't play all of them. There's certain game modes I don't like, but having the ranked play in here is huge, and having to work on that, adding more game modes, and this adding more content in general is going to be a big deal going forward for this game. And I also believe too that something they have to do is wait right now, because the hype for Black Ops 6 is going to be real, right? With the Omni movement and the beta's coming out and everything there, it's good for XDefiant to just kind of sit back right now, just enjoy like what they have right now, work on what they have right now, and then go forward after like the 2-3 weeks that Black Ops 6 is out, when people's like the hype train's over, they're kind of like settled in. That's when this game could come out with like some patch notes, a big update that's needed, and hopefully drive some more players like, oh hey man, I can go back to XDefiant. I heard they just had a big update, right? And it's already been like a month into Black Ops 6, so the hype could be died down a lot. And I think that would be huge for XDefiant as well. And I think they're just gonna have to time it. They're trying to compete with a very big studio with a very household name, and they can do it, but it's gonna have to be patience, and they're gonna have to work very, very hard at it for probably a few years. And they've already been at it for a few years, but that's not to say that they can't keep at it and keep consistent and come out on top. Also, real quick, I do want to wrap up with who I think is going to win in the first week. So even though I worked really hard in this game and still ended up with a loss, which doesn't surprise me, when you're solo queue, it's super hard. But I do want to wrap up with who I think is going to win in each game of the NFL going forward. So I'm going to start off with the Ravens and Chiefs for the opener, which is like a Super Bowl contending game right at the opener. It's going to be like the Daytona NASCAR, right? So Chiefs are home. I'm going Chiefs over the Ravens. And then we also have a Friday game, which is really odd, but hey, I'm for it. Why not? Packers and Eagles. Honestly, Eagles being home, I do believe that Jordan Love and the Packers have a chance at winning this game. I really do believe it. But with the Eagles being home, and I do believe that the Eagles are going to have that edge just by a little bit, so I'm going to go with the Eagles. And then the Sunday games, we have the Panthers and Saints. Saints are home. I'm going to have to go with the Saints. I think that it's going to be a really like a mistaken, riddled game, and that's just not going to be a good game at all. But who knows? Vikings and Giants. Hey, I'm hoping the Vikings do well over the Giants. I do believe that they have a chance to beat the Giants at home. Titans and Bears. Hey, I'm going Titans. Texans and Colts. Texans all the way. Patriots and Bengals. I don't want to answer that one because I'm a Patriots fan, and I do not like what's going on in that organization right now. So Bengals at home. Cardinals and Bills. I'm going Bills all the way. Jaguars and Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins. Steelers and Falcons. I have to go with the Falcons on this one. They're home, and I don't think either team is really that great, but I have to go with the Falcons. Broncos and Seahawks. I could see this one kind of going either way as well, but I got to go with the Seahawks at home. Raiders and Chargers. This is going to be a good game. A really good matchup right off the bat, and I honestly have to go with the Chargers on that one. Being home, and they have a new coach, right? They have Jim Harbaugh back in there. It'll be interesting to see how he does and against the Raiders. And then we have the Cowboys and Browns. And, of course, the Cowboy fans, they're hellbound and thinking that the Cowboys are going to win. But I have to say that I do believe the Cowboys are going to win. I don't want to say that, but I do believe that they're going to go into the dog pound and they're going to beat their way out. Commanders, Buccaneers. Let's go Bucks, man. I am kind of a Baker Mayfield fan. I don't think he's like no Super Bowl contending kind of quarterback, but his motivation and drive to win a match is like up there with the Brady, right? And so Buccaneers over the Commanders. And then we have to go with, I don't know why that just like did that. Can I just like, oh, I can't do that. I can't scroll. Okay. So then Rams and Lions. Lions are home. I do believe that the Lions are going to win that game. We have a Monday night game to finish up the week with the Jets and 49ers. And of course, I have to go with the 49ers on that game as well. So those are my picks for the NFL week 1. Let me know what your guys' week 1 picks are. What do you think about XDefiant? Do you think there's a chance that they could come back and kind of make a vengeance with their player count? Or are you completely like just done with XDefiant altogether? And what could they have done differently to keep your interest?